Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. How are you today?
Hi, we've been just watching
How are you all doing?
the news. Oh, can we turn that down? It's very bright, isn't it? I keep having hot flushes today.
Let's wait till everyone's here before we start.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cool. Hi, everyone. We thought we'd tuck into the news that's just broken today, only because we were following the Prince Andrew story in quite a lot of detail, actually. Was it earlier this year? It feels like it was last year. Maybe it was this year. I think it was.
I just cannot believe that it was only last August that he killed himself. I thought it was years ago.
No, I knew it was very recent, very recent. And I'm fascinated because, of course, the FBI have been desperately trying to talk to Prince Andrew. Prince Charles. This is massive implications for Prince Andrew.
Right. First of all, we haven't explained what. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
So, GHISLAINE Maxwell, who is the friend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Ex-girlfriend,
and accomplice and sort of work colleague and assistant. I can't get this thing to tilt down. She's just been arrested, basically. She was implicated in, and if you've seen we're 3 episodes into the Jeffrey Epstein documentary series.
Has anyone seen the Jeffrey Epstein? How many of you have seen it? Quite a few of them might have seen it.
Yeah.
Anyone seen it? Everyone know who we're talking about when we say Jeffrey Epstein?
So Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, leggy blonde. You said to us a number of times to watch it, didn't you?
Yeah, so he was
So most people have watched it.
Yeah. And so everyone, how would you describe Jeffrey Epstein then?
Well, he was a billionaire, very powerful, very connected to all the top folks.
Yeah.
And a stinking, revolting, disgusting
Incredibly
paedophile.
wealthy financier who had his fingers in every single part of the sort of higher echelons of the planet's celebrities, if you like. Friends with the royalty, friends with former presidents, friends with top lawyers, chief of police. He could do anything.
Attorney General.
Yeah, Attorney
General.
General.
We were just watching in the most recent episode.
Yeah.
I mean, that first stitch-up
of
him doing 18 months in a prison with his door open, that he could go out for 12 hours a day.
They basically said he was in a glorified motel. So anyway, he obviously, and he died under relatively suspicious circumstances.
Very suspicious.
In prison.
Suicide, reportedly.
And since then, GHISLAINE Maxwell, his aide and assistant, for whom many of the victims of his sort of prolific paedophilic and soliciting of young women, all the victims, all identify her as one of the key personnel, if not the key personnel, in essentially finding them and flying them around the world.
What do you guys think about her? Because most of you have watched this.
Oh, look, Tina's asking what you're asking.
Where was she hiding? Has she been in hiding? Because we can't find anything out. It just said
all it says that she was
been on the run?
She was out of public life.
Does anyone know if she's been on the run? See, my mum watched this series. She goes, I think she was worse than him. But I think we tend to say that when it's a woman that's done anything disgusting or anything sexually sexual harassment, not abuse related. But I don't know whether he was such a revolting person. I mean, do you remember the guy in episode 1 or episode 2? The guy who'd served a sentence for him.
Yeah.
And the way that he talked about him. A proper psychopath who could manipulate. Who's not to say that she'd been utterly manipulated by him?
Yeah, but she did have agency insofar as she was a grown woman who was making her own choices. So, I mean, yes, who's the victim? How many layers of victimhood are there?
I suppose we'll never know that.
Well, and I think the complicated, it's interesting you should say that, because the complicated element of this is that there were a lot of other women involved in procuring lots of young girls from schools. So, everyone, and a lot of people in that series that are talking about that, talk about their guilt around having brought new people. I mean, some having brought their own sisters in, unwittingly, not thinking that, but you could argue that it was incredibly, you could argue how naive was that? If you were being abused, why would you bring your, so there are so many layers of abuse that have gone on, so many layers.
Mel W is saying that they say that Bill Clinton had an affair with Maxwell. There's so much to talk about within this, isn't there? It's just a bit too...
So shall we look at what she's officially being charged for?
Yeah, let's start with that. So she has been arrested today.
She's been arrested today by the FBI. She was in New Hampshire. I thought she was allegedly somewhere else. I thought she was in New York or somewhere near the Israeli embassy. There was a lot of talk
That she's
about
being
Mossad
saved,
that
yeah.
was being sort of like
Because
was
her
looking
father
after.
had huge connections, didn't he,
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
Mossad?
So
They say, we don't know.
So the counts are she's being charged with 6 charges, 4 of them relating to the years 94 to 97. When Miss Maxwell was, according to the indictment, among Epstein's closest associates and also in an intimate relationship with him. And the 2 other charges are allegations of perjury or lying in court in 2016. Specifically, she's charged with conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and transporting a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Now, can I just quickly hasten to add here, with these sorts of complicated cases, when you get that number, so we've got 6 cases, 2 that are perjury, 4 that are actual counts of serious illegal acts of trafficking and procurement. The problem here is that these are the only 6 that the prosecutors have managed to really get tightly secure enough to secure a prosecution. We're not saying she's only guilty of these 6
Oh,
acts, because
no,
when you
it's
look at his
because-
life,
yes.
you know she can't be.
You know that they'll just have gone with what they're
Yeah.
100% sure of. Somebody just asked us there, was it Lewis? What did we honestly think of Prince Andrew's?
Oh, we thought it was
news
shambolic.
We
Utterly
did a review
shambolic.
of it here at the time, and we got the girls down to watch it because we thought it was important for them to watch it because we knew it was going to be a continuing big story, and their reaction to it was everything, wasn't it? Because Maddie said
She said it was
it's
an embarrassment
really
to Britain.
a real embarrassment to Britain how obviously he was lying. That's out of the mouths of babes. He is. Yeah.
I mean, Isabel Stein says, will he be arrested next? I think.
Well, this is what we need to discuss, isn't
Yeah.
it? What are the ramifications? They were very good friends. They've just said on CNN that originally the charges were in 3 different locations. Long Beach, his home, and then
The island.
the island. But now also her convictions, not
Yeah.
her convictions, her charges,
Charges.
also relate to her house in London,
Shitty hell.
trafficked to London.
She was a good friend of Prince Andrew.
And so, they went to university. She was at his daughter's 18th birthday. Very, very good friends. Very good friends. Are you going to tell me he never went to... And what about that guy talking in the episode we watched today about Prince Andrew by the pool, grinding?
Oh, no, I know, yeah. I mean, further actors. I mean, I wanted to actually bail out
Yes,
the
a
Jeffrey
prince
Epstein.
can be arrested, Alex.
Yeah, I
He's
wanted to
not
actually bail out
above
the
law.
Jeffrey Epstein documentary because I thought I don't want to be depressed anymore.
I said to Maddie, Daddy can't watch it anymore, it's too depressed.
How much more can I hear? I'm going to hear obviously terrible accounts, but and then to hear these accounts of Prince Andrew gyrating with people, but also to see photographs of Bill Clinton looking like an utterly hideous individual in these. I'm not suggesting he was, but it does all start to stick a little bit. Kevin Spacey, hearing Harvey Weinstein.
And don't you think the film of Epstein in the court? Oh my God! When they talk about his
Oh my
penis,
God,
when
his
they talk,
chode,
his
or
rage,
whatever it was, his
his
egg.
rage, like how dare you?
Yeah.
Oh, and his horrible, like angry little body. These poor girls.
But there's something deeply sociopathic and psychopathic about him. But here's the thing. So Ghislaine Maxwell has now been arrested. The implications aren't just massive for Prince Andrew. They have to put her under extraordinary guard because there is an increasing amount of evidence and suggestion that Jeffrey Epstein didn't take his own life. She has the keys.
And that was because of all sorts of things, wasn't it? That the cameras went off. He was supposed to be on suicide watch, and yet apparently the guards.
The cameras
weren't
were off
watching.
at the wrong time. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going to
that
hear
doesn't
that. I think this is
happen
in the
on
last
Suicide
episode.
Watch,
I think it
does
might be
it?
in the last episode.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The first thing she's probably going to do is enter into some kind of plea deal if this goes much further and they start to stack stuff up. And the plea deal, all of the documentary series and everything we're hearing here, this is about how the higher echelons of society have controlled this story and managed it. Right up high to the Attorney Generals and everything. They've managed it.
Disgusting. Money.
So how much, my worry is, how much is that still in there? So she stepped forward to what
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, we could easily sit and go, no, not after all this.
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
I mean, the blatant way they went behind the victim's back and
But, I mean,
carved up that deal with the Attorney
Precisely.
General, meeting with him in hotels and...
Yeah, because don't forget, Jeffrey Epstein essentially fell on his sword with that lower prosecution and that time in prison in order to try and get away from the story. How do we know Ghislaine Maxwell isn't going to do the same?
Well, exactly, I don't think we
just
do.
go for these 4 or 5, maybe get away with 2 of these counts, be done for 4 of these counts, get a minimal service, and then everything's ushered away, and that's the plea deal. Maybe she's already done the plea deal. Maybe they've said we'll get you for this, and we're going to.
Yeah, she could have already had conversations with them.
Yeah,
But I just heard on CNN they say the charges are stretching back over 28 years.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really hope and think, and keep my fingers crossed, that this is going to be something that spins out of control for all of those nasty, nasty individuals who are involved in this too. Because they're, believe you me, this is something that implicates
I'm not giving
countless
you a
people.
dirty look. No, she said, whenever Nadia looks into the camera, I feel like she's looking at me and giving me a dirty
oh my
look.
God, oh.
She's laughing.
Oh. Listen to Sean Atwood on YouTube has followed all news on Epstein from day one. Anna, they all knew about him. I saw an old clip of Trump saying regarding Epstein, saying he likes them young. I believe the Clintons knew. I agree. Andrew, they all knew. You couldn't not know. He had photographs of young
Trump
kids
has
everywhere.
actually said, like me, he likes young women.
I know.
I mean, that's a direct quote from him.
Yeah. So,
What do you think of his lawyer? He gives me the creeps.
which one?
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz. Is it Dershowitz?
Don't like him.
I know what you mean. I mean, but is it
Got
that
bad
terrible thing where
feeling
everyone
about him.
associated with the paedophile just feels a bit sticky and horrible? Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like. It feels like everyone's going to... So anyway, so she's actually there's a hearing in court this afternoon, I think.
And let's not forget, when he got this stitched up charge, so he could just do 12 months with an open door and do whatever, the fact that these girls were named as prostitutes.
Oh, that's just awful. It's awful.
I mean, just think about that.
It's only me, I think, is voicing something a lot of people feel. I don't think she should be able to give info in exchange for a shorter sentence.
No, I don't.
They're all abhorrent, but in my eyes, she's worse because she gained the girls' trust and exploited them alongside Epstein.
She cannot be allowed. She may well have to pay the price for both of them.
Black Elvis. Dershowitz was on the plane. He said he got a massage but kept his pants on.
Is that what he said? Did he say that?
You can't...
What about that girl's testimony that the first time when she went on the plane and he had, how did she describe
Just
it?
hardcore,
Hardcore. I mean, what does that mean? And everyone pretended they were asleep. I think that's one of the most horrible things I've ever heard, because the normality of that people turned away, went on their phone.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the accusers, Dankist Ranch, says that the accusers claim Dershowitz abused her. We haven't seen the last episode, so that might be in the last episode.
In the documentary, the girls clearly says that GHISLAINE...
It's true, she does. You're absolutely right, she does, weeb. Yeah. But nobody seems to care.
Oh my God, I hope all kinds of terrible things happened to him in prison. Do you think they did? Please tell me you think they did.
To who, Jeffrey?
For the short time he was in there.
Well, unfortunately, they did, but I think...
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Well, insofar as I think he was taken away at a point where we needed to get more information out of him. And, you could argue that maybe he was dispensed of, if he was dispensed of by someone, as a way to make sure he didn't worm his way out of this again, when he was in prison. Or I think, personally, that someone got him bumped off because there's too much information to know.
Exactly, Jeannie. Prince Andrew will be cracking himself.
I'm fascinated to know. I wouldn't be at all surprised. I don't want to be a drama queen. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if something pretty suspect happens with this Ghislaine Maxwell now.
But they can't.
You watch this space.
It would be... What, you mean that she does a fake
Not
suicide
necessarily gets bumped off, but just something... Let's just watch and see if with Trump as the head of the country and with all of the kind of higher echelons being tied up, I'd just be fascinated to know what's going on in the Clintons' household, what's going on in the Harvey Weinstein's council, all these individuals that were friends and participants in Epstein's, harem. I'd be fascinated to know what's going on, what the chatter is in all those houses now.
Jenny Donnelly says she doesn't think she'll be alive for long. Angela Lockett's all corrupt. Lorna Levy-Shuzman, look, they have it all covered.
I mean, let's not forget Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, shrouded in Now,
Yeah,
going
what was
back...
the story with him? He was dodgy,
Well,
wasn't
he was so dodgy. Do you remember?
Wasn't
He
fall off a
disappeared.
boat?
Well, theoretically he did, but was a body ever found? Do you not think he maybe just was shipped off to an island somewhere, and wasn't he involved in some enormous cash scandal? What was the scandal?
Can
I was a
anyone
boy.
remember? I can't remember.
But here's the thing, you know, you never
Thank
know.
you, Susie.
Ghislaine Maxwell, this is not a means of excusing her, but like you say, maybe she became the kind of accomplice she became because of the kind of childhood she had. You don't know what she
We
experienced.
don't know.
Doesn't excuse anything, because countless people have terrible childhoods and don't do this.
No, but I'm always interested in what drives a person to do what
Leggy
they do.
Blonde Jen, she's probably been living with her dad. I think he'd be
Robert
100,
Maxwell was a
110.
dual spy, says Connie Mackenzie.
Ooh,
Thank you, Monsura. K-Sock, he looted his company's pension fund.
that's
That
right.
was it.
That's right. Fell off a boat. He did a Lord Lucan. You're right. I don't think he disappeared. He disappeared. You watch. Prince Andrew will go missing. He will be off to one of those islands. God, Prince Andrew's going to be shitting himself.
What about if Ghislaine
Yeah.
knows something about Trump?
Oh.
What if that's her ticket out?
What if that's why the FBI have managed to get her? Maybe they've said, you give us something
Because
on
don't
Trump.
forget, Trump pissed off the FBI.
Oh, he certainly did. It's going to rumble and rumble. Anyway, she's in court this afternoon. So any big news developments, we will be picking this story up. We'll be tucking it under our arms and running with it.
Robert Maxwell worked for Mossad, says Buffy.
Really?
Thank you for all your nice... I can see all your nice messages
Yeah.
about me on Loose Women Today. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for all your, you know, you've got so much information. We love hearing all this.
I know, because we were like, oh, do we know this? Do we know? Let's ask the subs.
Yeah.
So we don't know... Does anyone know if she was on the run? That's my big question that I want answered.
Yeah. No one really knows if she was being hidden, being protected, or whether she was like, they just knew where she was.
Faith Goodman says Trump was in his black book of names and dates. Well, they were friends. I mean, they were neighbours.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the black book could have just been an address book.
Michelle88 says Trump was barred from his club, but don't think he's involved.
Where was she arrested? New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
What about that part when he said he was given 3 12-year-olds for his birthday?
Anna says it is true at some point that Trump stepped away from... Well, interestingly, Trump did step away from him, and Prince Andrew didn't.
Prince Andrew went back to see him to tell him that they weren't going to be friends anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that lie was
Possibly one
embarrassing.
Oh, final foot massage.
That was so
We
embarrassing.
quoted you, Maddie, about how you made it. He was an embarrassment to England.
Britain, she said.
Oh, look, Trump barred him from his club.
Oh, he's absolutely not involved, says Anne-Marie.
Ah.
Does this mean Night Shift is back? Hope so, I've missed it.
Oh.
Sometimes Night Shift will be here.
Yeah.
I thought she was hiding in Paris, but also heard Israel was
That's
protecting
it.
her in some way, says Jenny
Paris.
Ward. Paris,
That's
was
where
it.
I thought she was, near the Israeli embassy in Paris.
Oh, Cada Girl says the FBI were looking for her for a year. They said this afternoon on Fox News.
Get Fox News.
So
on.
she has been in hiding.
Yes. Could Prince Andrew be more of a
I
dick
think-
than Trump?
I think Prince Andrew will be subpoenaed now.
I think he'll have to be subpoenaed.
I think Ghislaine is going to say some stuff about Prince Andrew.
And he's going to say stuff about
Prince
her.
Andrew is going to be subpoenaed.
And he's going to say stuff about her. I think we're going to see two college friends at each other's throats.
Oh, yes, you're right, Lucy. He did. Prince Andrew did see Ghislaine just a month before his interview. He did.
Trump, Clinton's, and Andrew for prison, Carl Smith. Well, ironically,
Prince Andrew won't
ironically of
sleep
all of them, I
tonight.
think Trump is possibly the one who held him at arm's length first.
I bet Prince Andrew won't sleep tonight.
Prince Andrew will be shitting himself. I wonder if he'll be popping down the local Pizza Express on Super Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Get himself a Lorraine.
Throw each other under the bus for sure, says Isabel.
Yeah. This
Thank you,
is
Faith.
This is monarchy broken.
I think
new
there'll all
king
be
coming.
silence, says Elizabeth Gordon.
Subpoenaed means when you are called legally to have to.
When you've got no
appear.
choice. Because
Yeah.
they've been asking him politely for quite a while.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Anna. We think her music's amazing
Oh,
too.
thank you, Anna. Yes.
I think there'll all be silence. A huge den of crime, says Elizabeth Gordon. I think so.
Well, I'm going to be following this story, so I want to know. I'm going to go over there now and watch the news and see what's happening in court, because I think she's in court. They're reading her charges to her this afternoon.
God. Well, if there's anything else newsworthy, we will come back and do another little live.
All right, guys, keep telling us all your thoughts underneath, because I love going back there, especially when I'm on the loo, just to kind of have a read. All right.
Bye.
Lots of love, guys. Take care. Bye.